I'm with Adrian and Louise Rose, who are co-directors of Northwest Crystals UK Limited. Welcome, both of you.
Hello, Adrian.
Hello, hi.
Great. So just kick off, tell us a little bit about your business and how long it's been going.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the business itself is in this kind of manifestation has been going for 3 years. And it's came about purely by accident as it goes. It was sort of just before the pandemic hit. 22 years ago, Louise had a shop in Clitheroe, and it was a fair trade shop. And we, as a part of that, we also sold crystals. And then when the recession hit back in 2008, we closed the business down, put everything that we didn't sell up in the loft. And then, 3 years ago, I was up in the loft, as you do, found all these crystals under a blanket, and then sold them on Facebook. They sold super quick. So we decided to kind of relook at it and formulate it back into a business.
Right. So what type of customers are you selling to?
This one?
The demographic is mainly between 20 and 45, I'd say.
Yeah.
We do have some older ones, but usually it's between 20 and 45, and a lot of our customers are based in London and the Midlands.
Yeah, and then we have sort of 3 distinct types of people that we sell to. We sell to people who believe in the kind of spiritual aspects of crystals, and then we sell to people who just like shiny, pretty things to put on the shelf. And then we also sell to people who are kind of really into crystals and minerals and the whole kind of geology aspect of it as well.
Right. Oh, real mix then.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And what would the split be between male and female, just out of interest?
It's probably a good 80 to 90% female, I would say.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, easily 80 to 90% female.
All right. So you started just before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like, starting at that time?
It was actually, do you know what? It was a real benefit as well, because we both had, grown-up adult jobs out in the real world, which was really rubbish because it's adult jobs. And it allowed us to kind of, Louise was working from home. I was out, but then I was home by, kind of 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was able to carry on doing that work in aid of the crystal business. But the good thing was that COVID really, really benefited us because a lot of people were really in need of something, and people turned a lot more to kind of spirituality, I think, during lockdown, because a lot of people were quite introspective in how they looked at it, themselves, because people had a lot of free thinking time because of being at home and alone. And I think, when people turned to crystals as a spiritual medium, we did. The business really flourished because of that. It really did help us out.
Without a doubt.
And of course, the benefit of that is that the customers benefited as well, because our price difference, and I don't know if you want to come on to that, but our price difference really helps people get what they wanted at a price they wanted to pay as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about that price difference then.
So do you want to do that bit?
Okay, so when we sold the crystals on Facebook for the first time, when we initially started again, we were really shocked at the price of the crystals that came up, that were being advertised and sold on Instagram and Facebook, and we were really shocked at the mislabeling and mis-selling, and also the prices. So we decided that we wanted to do something about it. We still had a lot of old contacts that we had from previously, and we wanted to bring crystals, affordable crystals, to everybody that wanted them, from lawyers to bus drivers, to anybody in between, and you shouldn't be able to differentiate that either. So it was, that's our passion, isn't it? And not overcharging for crystals, and not being missold as well, because there's so many crystal sellers out there that really do not know what they're selling.
And I think for us, as Louise says, the most important thing was that we went back to our original supplier. So we didn't use any British wholesalers at all. We went direct to source. So we were using miners cooperatives, miners agents, women's cooperative, whatever country we went to, we went direct to source, so that the money could get to where it needed to, most importantly. And that kind of harkens back to Louise's fair trade days when she had a business back in the early 2000s. And it allowed us, because there's not, 15 middlemen in the way, that we could bring our retail prices at what is, for the most part, the wholesale price in Britain.
Yeah.
Right. So what kind of differential were you offering then?
In terms of price,
On average, yeah.
On average, we're about 50% cheaper than anybody else.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we went to a local wholesaler. We were invited across there, and our retail prices were less than their wholesale prices by a long margin. So, their wholesale, you had to then double it and add VAT and all the rest of it, whereas ours were already cheaper at full retail than their wholesale price.
So pricing is a differential. What other differentials might you have?
Customer service.
I think for us, it's about that, having good customer service, but the customer service is based upon being absolutely honest and robust and conscientious about what it is we're doing. We won't buy from countries such as Democratic Republic of Congo, because they have horrendous child slavery issues across there in terms of mining. The average age of the miner in the DRC is 7 years old, so we won't buy from them. And every single day in the shop, when people come in, they say, I've never seen this before, I've never seen that before. And that's the beauty, is because we go all around the world, we can get a huge variety of different crystals and minerals that, most crystal shops in Britain will sell the bog standard stuff, your amethyst, rose quartz, etc. Because of our kind of far reaching scope, we can bring all sorts of crystals that no one's ever seen before, and then back that up with 22 years worth of experience in the industry and really, really, really learning and knowing our trade.
Yeah.
You've got that market dominated by the sounds of things.
I don't know about that.
We had a geologist, actually, funny enough, come in the shop yesterday, and she was saying that she's been in most crystal shops in the north of England, and she says she's caught every single one of them out with questions, and we're the only person, or so we're the only shop that's never, so that she tried to trip up and it just didn't work because we really knew our stuff.
You know your stuff. Yeah. Great stuff. Just out of interest then, what you've got a shop, and I guess you sell online as well.
Yeah,
we do indeed.
What's the ratio of sales?
Most of our, I think just because the shop has just started, it's been open 6 weeks. Most of our income has been from Instagram, and we do live sales, and we do long live sales, don't we?
Very, very, very long.
Very long live sales. So our day can start at 6:30 and finish at 6:30 p.m. and finish at 1 a.m. in the morning, and we're still selling crystals at that time in the morning. But we have a laugh with it, don't we? We're honest, we're open, we have a laugh, we entertain people. I think that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and there is sorry to interrupt, there's a big way of selling on Instagram within the crystal and spiritual community where people almost sell a fictitious kind of lifestyle. They talk about, twinkles and rainbows and angels and one thing and another. And the sellers are very much kind of, that's the dream they're selling. Whereas we're selling the crystals. That's it. We're being honest and open, and we're not selling a twinkly lifestyle that comes with it. We're being honest in just selling crystals. That's what it is.
And to cap all that, I think also people appreciate how refreshingly sort of like just honest, we're down to earth people that care about our community, and we do a lot for our community, and it's repaid, hasn't it, in this business? Yeah,
we've created a lot of things that people haven't done within the crystal industry, and that's really paid off because it's helped us to build a really strong community.
Yeah,
I hear and feel the passion and the integrity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, that's the issue with our shop as well. You can't really see it particularly well from behind us, but in the shop, we could have put racking all around the shop, but we've set aside a huge area of the shop as a seated area, so that when people come in, it's not a case of, okay, buy it and get out. We want people to come in and be able to sit and talk with us and hold a crystal and, to be able to feel it and then leave. If they want to keep it, then they pay for it. If they don't like it, then they can sit down with something else as well. But we just really wanted it to be a community space where people could come and not feel pressured to buy.
Yeah.
Because as Louise says, the vast majority of our income comes from our web sales and Instagram sales.
Yeah.
So what are the challenges as you look ahead? What's the future look like?
Yeah, I mean,
pound against the dollar,
yeah,
isn't it?
pound against the dollar, of course. You know, what was costing, you know, if we ordered $1,000 6 months ago, which is a fairly small order for us, but if we ordered $1,000 of stock 6 months ago, it was £725 that it cost us. If we order $1,000 now, it's close to £900. So of course that you can only absorb so much of that margin. So, you know, the rest of it has to go onto the cost of the crystal.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's good that we're already cheaper than anyone else, because those small additional markups over lots and lots of crystals doesn't really put an extra financial burden on the crystal. I think the second thing, of course, is that people naturally have less money in their pocket. And again, I think that our pricing structure helps that out, because whilst people have got less expendable income because of the price of living, etc., if our crystals are half the price of everyone else's because of how we source them and then kind of remarket them, it allows people to still be able to buy what they want without having, you know, to break the bank.
Yeah. And one of the other things that was really important is, you know, I think people come to us because of us as well. It's our personalities and how we do things. So I think we'll always have those people, those loyal customers, shall we say. And I think it's a bit of breath of fresh air. But as you said, difficulties ahead. It is the pound against the dollar, and
the cost of living, for sure.
Cost of living.
I can see you guys making a difference. You're crystal gurus.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
So if
honesty and integrity, that's all it boils down to for us, is just honesty and integrity. That's it.
Yeah,
you know?
I think people find that refreshing as well, because they can see, you know, that crystal, if people are into crystals, they will go into any crystal shop around the world, wherever they are, and they will look and they will find and they will price and compare, just as any other shopper should be doing these days for anything. But I think people are finding us quite refreshing to A, for the knowledge, and B, for the pricing and the variety. And I think that's important. And it's, you know, I think the crystal sellers of the world, of the UK anyway, have had it really good for a long time. And I think it's about time that, you know, people need to be a bit more discerning and honest about the pricing.
So what have you learnt along the way? What advice might you give to somebody who's setting up their own business?
Research.
research and put the legwork in. You know, that's the thing, is that you can't just see another company doing well and assume that you'll do well. It just doesn't work that way at all. You have to have knowledge. You have to have a passion for what it is you're selling. Anybody could sell a tin of baked beans, because a tin of baked beans it advertises itself. But with crystals, you know, there are 2,500 known species of crystals, and all of them have got subspecies as well. So you have to have a really good working knowledge of all of those, and you have to really put the legwork in. We did I won't say the name of the organization, but we did one of these. It was like a crystal fair that lots of people exhibit at, and we had 4 other exhibitors verbally abuse us because they thought we were selling at wholesale prices. And we said, but they're not wholesale prices, that's our retail. And they said, well, I can't even buy them in England for that price. And it's like, well, there you go. That's the issue. Is any advice we would give is, don't just go to the closest wholesaler, and that's in whatever industry it may be. You know, whether you're selling tennis balls or you know, crystals, it doesn't matter. Don't just go to the closest wholesaler in Britain and expect to be able to, you know, make a good business. You need to do the legwork. You need to really kind of outsource and reach out to other people and other places to try and get A, the price right, and B, the intentionality right behind it. As you said, you know, Louise's background in fair trade, so we went directly to miners' communities, to miners' agents, to women's cooperatives, so that we could consciously source our crystals. And then as a part process of that is being able to bring them really, really cheap to, you know, the end user.
Brilliant. Great advice.
Do the legwork that it's as simple as that.
I think a lot of people think that, you know, particularly in the crystal industry, that they're on Instagram, I can make quick money, and they don't have the knowledge, they don't do the research, they don't do the legwork. We've been up, you know, it was a long slog. It was hard work. We
Yeah.
were dealing with people across the world at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, and getting up doing our regular job.
Yeah.
You know, so it took an awful lot of building up, but it's once it's there, and it's there for life. Do you know what I mean? It's getting your contacts without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, that's great advice. Congratulations on what you've achieved so far, and congratulations on what you are going to achieve in the future.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.